Chess, the ultimate game of challenge and strategy. About chess. Chess is a board game played by two people. Each player controls an army of 16 pieces. One army is black, the other white. Each piece moves in a unique manner. A game of strategy and concentration. The basics. Chess pieces. King, queen, bishop, knight, rook, and pawn. The king. Each army has one king. The king moves one square in any direction. The queen. Each army has one queen. A queen moves any number of squares in a straight line in any direction. The bishop. Each army has two bishops. A bishop moves any number of squares diagonally and remains on squares of one color. The knight. Each army has two knights. Knights move in an L shape, moving two squares vertically or horizontally, then making a turn left or right and moving one more square. The rook. Each army has two rooks. The rook moves any number of squares in a straight line, horizontally or vertically. The pawn. Each army has 8 pawns. Pawns only move directly forward, one square at a time. If it is the pawn's first move, it can move one or two squares. Pawns can only capture a piece by moving one square diagonally. Board setup. Rooks go in the two corner squares of its army. Knights go next to the rooks of the same color. Bishops are placed next to the knights. The queen is placed on the center square of its color. The king is placed next to the queen of the same color. Pawns go in a row in front of its army. Game objective. The ultimate goal of chess is to trap the leader of the opposing army, the king. This is called checkmate and results in a win for the checkmating side. The rules of the game. Chess is played between two players, white and black. The two players alternate turns. Whites always move first, moving one piece at a time with the ultimate goal of capturing the enemy king. There are 6 pieces in chess, each moves in a unique way. All pieces do share some common traits. For instance, no piece is allowed to land on a square occupied by a friendly piece. If a piece lands on a square occupied by an enemy piece, that enemy is captured and removed from the board. Also, with the exception of the knight, pieces are not permitted to jump over other pieces. Game phases. Opening. Both sides develop their pieces and formulate their plans. Middle game is where the largest battles are waged between the armies. End game is a tense battle between the few remaining forces on the board. Special moves. Pawn promotion. Should a pawn manage to make it all the way to the other end of the board, that pawn must promote to any piece its owner wants, other than a king. Most of the time, a pawn will be promoted to a queen. However, You can also choose to promote to a rook, knight, or bishop. Promoting to something other than a queen is known as under promotion. Castling. Castling can only be done if the following conditions are all present. Neither the king nor rook being used have been moved yet during the game. If either piece has been moved, then castling is not allowed, even if the piece is moved back to its original square. All the squares between the king and the rook must be empty. The king must not be in check, nor can castling move the king through a square where he would be in check. If all these conditions are met, castling is done by moving the king 2 squares towards the rook, while the rook hops over the king, landing on the square next to the king. En passant. This allows a pawn which has moved 2 squares to be captured as though it only moved one. The following conditions must all be present for an en passant capture to be legal. The capturing pawn must be on its 5th rank. The opponent must move a pawn 2 squares, landing the pawn directly alongside the capturing pawn on the 5th rank. The capture must be made immediately. You get only one chance to capture an en passant. If all those conditions are met, an en passant capture is possible. Game endings. Checkmate. A situation in which a player's king is being attacked and there is no means for the king to avoid being captured on the next turn. Stalemate occurs when one player has no legal moves and is not in check. This ends the game as a draw. Other draws include threefold repetition, exact position occurring 3 times with a player, or the 50 move rule, no piece captured after 50 consecutive moves by each player. Enjoy the challenge. Play a game of chess.